Hi, wonderful viewers. This is another day that God has given us, and this day we are delighted to come to your house or wherever you're watching us with this episode of the program Afya Yetu. Today we are blessed to have a visitor together with us, and I know whatever we're going to discuss today, it is going to be a blessing to you, and you're going to have new knowledge on this subject that you're going to discuss. Now, in the recent past, there has been emerging information that most people nowadays are not visiting hospitals, especially at this particular era of the pandemic. Many people are fearing to go to hospitals because maybe they think when they go to the hospital, they might contract corona or other diseases. So when someone feels that they are not well, nowadays it has become the norm that people just rush to the chemist, buy some of the medication, and they just go home and use it. So today we are going to discuss on this important issue on over-the-counter medication, especially when it comes to antimicrobial agent. To help me discuss this matter, I have Dr. Ruth Mayane Marita, who is with us today in the studio. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Thank you.
Say hi to the viewers.
Hello, viewers. I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Yeah, so we have Dr. Ruth Marita Mayane, who is going to help us discuss and understand this particular topic. So, karibu sana. So, Daktari,
Yes.
maybe to start with, you can just in a short way help us understand what are microbial agents, antimicrobial agents.
Okay, antimicrobials are medicines which are used to treat bacterial infections, viruses, fungi, and also parasites. So they are, you can say they are used to kill all the living organisms which can affect our health.
Okay.
Basically, yes.
So you say that antimicrobial agents, these are just a class of medications that are used to treat and to cure infections that are brought about by bacteria, parasites, and many other. So
Yes.
maybe the next question maybe that I will want to ask, are these antimicrobial agents licensed to be, allowed to be bought over the counter?
They are not, they should not be, they are not allowed by the regulatory body to be sold over the counter. Ideally, you should have a prescription, unless it's for the parasites, which are the worms, which you can get over the counter. I think those are the only ones which are allowed to be over the counter, but the rest of the antimicrobials for the bacteria, viruses, ideally they should not be sold over the counter.
So what you're saying that if someone has maybe worms, like in common term we call them minyo, you
Yes.
can just go buy the
Those ones are allowed.
Those ones are allowed.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, there is a trend nowadays. You'll find that people, when they get sick, when they are not feeling well, they just go to the chemist, and of course they explain, or they say, I need, maybe you'll find them saying, I need amoxil, I need
Yes.
fragile.
Yes.
So you're saying that one is not allowed?
Yes, it is not allowed.
Okay.
It should not happen that way.
So maybe just to go a little bit further, what are the dangers that are associated with using antimicrobial agents without any prescription?
Okay, the dangers are that you may not be needing that medication. Because most people go to the chemist and ask for amoxil, they have a sore throat. But you know, a sore throat can also be caused by a virus.
Yeah.
Or a sore throat can just be maybe you have an irritation on your throat and you don't need the antibiotic, the amoxil. So when you go and ask and you don't have a prescription, and the person at the other end of the counter sells it to you, the danger is that you are putting us at risk as a society to have what is known as antimicrobial resistance, because you are misusing and overusing the medication.
Okay.
So that is a danger of going just to the chemist asking for an antibiotic when you don't need it.
Okay.
So it puts us in danger of the development of antimicrobial resistance, which, according to the WHO, is now something which is a global issue, a public health issue. It is not just something that is a small issue, but it is a big issue which is endangering us as a society.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have put it very well that if someone goes to the chemist, and of course they say, I have a sore throat, and they're just given the antibiotics or the whatever medication, it is risky on their end.
Yes.
And you find that nowadays, I've seen scenarios whereby someone goes to the chemist, of course, with common flu.
Yes.
And one of the medication, of course, that they are given
Yes.
includes an antibiotic.
Yes.
So that one also is dangerous because now
Yes.
you're treating an antibiotic using,
You're
I mean,
treating
you're treating an antivirus
Yeah.
or a flu
Yeah.
with an antibiotic. So that
Yes.
one triggers the development of antimicrobial resistance.
Yes.
So maybe to help us understand, what is this antimicrobial resistance?
Okay, antimicrobial resistance is when the medicines, the bacteria or these organisms which I mentioned, the fungi, bacteria, viruses, parasites, are no longer responding to the medications which used to work before. For instance, let us say the organism which causes pneumonia. Right now it responds to amoxicillin very well. But with time, as we continue to abuse and misuse these medications, the bacteria now develops. It's like it evolves and becomes resistant to the amoxicillin. It is not that the person becomes resistant to the drugs. It is that the bacteria are the ones which are now not responding. So before it could be cured with such and such a drug, but with time, as we continue to misuse and misuse and overuse these medications, the bacteria now evolve. It's something which happens naturally, generally, like the way they say we've evolved as humans, but the misuse and overuse of these medications is accelerating the rate of the development of the antimicrobial resistance.
Okay.
So that is what the antimicrobial resistance is. It is that the bacteria or these organisms no longer respond to these medications which used to work for them before.
Okay.
It is not that a person becomes resistant. And you see that puts us as a society as a whole in trouble, because in a few years pneumonia might become untreatable with the medications which used to work before. That is just one example of one disease.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you've put it very clearly. So that misuse, the overuse, the overuse, the underuse, that is the underdose.
Yes.
Make the organism to mutate or to
Yes.
change its form.
Yes.
That is, we are talking about the germ that causes a particular infection.
Yes.
And the end result is that even if you use that medication in the future,
Yes.
it will not be effective.
Yes, to not necessarily to you, the person who misused, but to someone else who can get infected.
Yeah, because now that
It's
germ
transmittable.
it's transmittable from
Yes.
you to another individual. Now it
Yes.
has changed.
Yeah.
It is now able to tolerate that
Yes,
medication.
yes,
So if
yes.
it goes to another person,
Yeah.
now they are not able to
Yes.
get well. Huh?
Yes.
Oh, that is quite dangerous.
That's why sometimes you hear someone has died of pneumonia or a disease which is curable, and it's not that they were immunocompromised or immunosuppressed, and you wonder how did they die? It may be they may have gotten infected with a resistant organism which is not working with the medication, and now which is not working with the usual medication. So before maybe they get these more costly medications, maybe they don't have money, they pass away.
They pass away.
Yes.
Now, the other issue, when you are talking about the development of antimicrobial resistance, you mentioned the overuse and the underuse,
Yes.
the underdose.
Yes.
So you'll find that it is now becoming, I've met several people, and you'll find that someone starts a dosage of a certain particular, let's say, antimicrobial agent.
Yes.
And along the way, when they start feeling better, they stop continuing with the dosage.
Yes.
So does that also have some impact on the development of this antimicrobial resistance?
Okay, it does, because when you're told by a practitioner, then a pharmacist or a doctor, take this for 5 days, when they have done these experiments and decided this is effective against this organism for 5 days, then you should take it for that time. If you take it for fewer, there is conflicting information. There people say there are some documentations which are saying fewer works, but it's dependent on the organism.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're told 5 days, finish your medication those days, even if you feel better, because that will ensure the elimination of all those organisms in your body. So you can say it does contribute to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, maybe what advice can you give to the viewer at home, who maybe when they feel they have a little bit of a running stomach, they feel they have a little bit of this and that, and these symptoms, they are similar to maybe another episode they had earlier, and they went to the doctor, and the doctor prescribed a certain medication, and it worked at that time. Now they are having the same symptoms. Instead of going back to the doctor, they just rush to the chemist, say, give me this and this and this. So what advice can you give to such kind of people?
I'd say I'd advise you to go to a doctor, or if you can't go to a doctor, go to a chemist, where we have someone licensed who can understand. You go to a lab who can refer you to a laboratory where tests can be done, so that you can confirm, yes, I have this, I need this. Because actually, like for running stomach, most of them, we don't need to take any medication against it. They are self-limiting. So the only thing you might need to take is an antidiarrheal. So what I'd advise is go back to the doctor, or go to a chemist where they'll refer you to a lab. You get tested for whatever is you're suspecting of, and then you go back with the lab results, you show the pharmacist, and then they'll decide, do you need this or you don't? Not just you go and you get your own medication, no tests have been done, you haven't been examined by a doctor, and you take medication. It is not advisable. It is dangerous to yourself, because even these medications have side effects, and it is also dangerous to us all as a society because of the development of the antimicrobial resistance.
Great. So at least I think that point has come out very clearly. So you don't get treatment of the infection that you're currently having based on
What
whatever
was there before.
What was there. So you need to go visit the doctor once again.
Yes.
They review the case, see whether it is the same infection, and then they give you, whether they'll decide to give you the same antimicrobial agent or change it, it's up to them.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that one is very important, and I think usually with such kind of information, I think we'll be able to overcome these animal that you're calling the antimicrobial resistance.
Yes.
No, let's go to the other thing. What are the driving factors, or what fuels? Now we have known what antimicrobial resistance is. Now, what are these factors that fuel the development of antimicrobial resistance? You've mentioned that there are some diseases which are now currently untreatable.
Yes.
You've talked about
with
pneumonia.
With the normal medications which used to work. Now we need stronger.
And more expensive for that matter.
Yes.
So you've talked of pneumonia. There is TB.
Yes, TB is another one which is resistance is developing quite fast. Yes.
So what are these factors that are fueling this rapid development of antimicrobial resistance?
Okay, the factors which are influencing, apart, like I said before, this antimicrobial resistance is bound to happen. But it is happening currently at a very fast rate because of the misuse and overuse of medications. So that is what is fueling it. That is the number one propagator for the antimicrobial resistance.
So, Dr. let me just cut you short. You said misuse.
Yes.
So can you explain that term misuse? You see, Yeah, that one. I think that one is
Misuse
the one that is weighty there. Misuse.
Misuse is when you go, you buy your amoxil and you don't need it, or buy any other antibiotic or antimicrobial and you don't need it. That's one misuse. Another one is...
For example, you're having flu.
Yes.
Instead of just going to buy something that will just, handle the symptoms of flu,
yes.
just go and buy antibiotic,
yes.
amoxil, or any other antibiotic.
Yes.
So you're having flu, a virus causing caused infection, but
Yes.
you're treating with
antibiotic.
Antibiotic.
Yes.
So that one is misuse.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Or another situation is when you insist, like the doctor or where you're going to buy medicine, they tell you you don't need an antibiotic, which is for the bacteria, and then you insist, just give me.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you go to a chemist and you insist, they tell you don't need, and then you insist. That's another misuse. Another misuse is when you take it for fewer days than you should. It's been prescribed, but then you take it for, instead of 5 days, which you've been told, you take for 3 days or 4 days. Yes, those are examples of the misuse I can think of.
There is something else I've noted. Ladies. Ladies, when they just have some little pimples or rashes, they just go straight to the chemist and buy. You'll hear them saying, "Patia extra dam, patia, I don't know, the Olcott and all those, the corticosteroids."
Yeah.
So that one is also part of misuse.
Yes, it's part of misuse, but that is, they are not part of the antimicrobials.
Oh, that one is a different thing.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Okay.
Yes, though it is still misuse,
It is
and
still
it's
misuse.
quite dangerous. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've talked of misuse. The second point was
Overuse or underuse. Overuse mostly, not underuse. Yes.
Overuse.
Overuse is just the same way where you are always buying antibiotics, always using antibiotics even when you don't need it. They are almost, in this context, you can replace one for the other. Or just using it too much. Like even as healthcare workers, a patient comes and you just prescribe an antibiotic and you haven't tested, you haven't taken their samples to the lab to see if they are really infected. Even as healthcare workers, we do have a responsibility. I think overuse comes mostly on the part of the healthcare workers, where anyone comes, you just tell them, you just give them an antibiotic you prescribe. You haven't tested them, you haven't taken their blood to the lab or the specimen or whatever they're suffering from. You just suspect and you treat without confirming.
Okay.
Yes.
So there is that aspect of also you need to confirm the causative agent of a particular infection before you treat it.
Yes, with the antibiotic.
Okay. So so it cuts both ways. We need to we need to enlighten the the end user and also whoever is prescribing that we need to be responsible so that we can avoid the development of the antimicrobial resistance.
Yes.
Now, maybe now that we have this antimicrobial resistance, and as you say that there is rapid development of antimicrobial resistance and it is spreading, what are the impacts that come with it?
The impact, the one I've mentioned earlier, is that the diseases which are now treatable, in the future they will not be treatable with the medications that we have right now. So this will increase the cost, because now you'll need more expensive drugs to treat what was being treated before by something cheaper.
So you say the first thing is that now this microorganism of the germ will not be able to respond to the medications which they used to respond to.
Yes.
So it means that whatever we'll be having at this century, and of course I believe the development of medication takes time.
It takes time, yes.
So by the time maybe we are getting a new medication, we will have exhausted whatever we have. Nothing will be now
working at that point, yes. So that's another danger. That's one of the dangers. And then another thing is that procedures like going for surgery and treating cancer will become more dangerous because now you can be given prophylaxis prophylaxis is you're given medication to prevent something in case it happens. Like, you've gone to the hospital and they give you medication, antimicrobials to prevent certain diseases, which can put you in danger when you're undergoing a surgical procedure. So it will make those procedures risky. You might go there, you're okay. You go there, you get an infection, which is resistant to the medications we are using. And then now it becomes another complication.
Okay.
Now even if you go and you get these infections, it is easily treatable because the resistance has not become much.
So I think that point is very, very important. That if we're having someone going for a surgical procedure,
yes,
of course after the surgery, they are given prophylaxis to prevent.
Yeah, even during.
Yeah, even during.
Surgery,
Yeah. So to prevent possible
infections, because because when the doctor is operating, we have bacteria on our skin. Anything can happen. You're using foreign objects to cut. Just prophylactically they are given.
So you'll find that now it will be easy for one to get infections because now these germs that are causing the infections are resistant. They are not responding to those particular drugs. I think that one is a very, very serious thing.
Yes.
A very serious thing.
Yeah.
I think you also mentioned something to do with the cost. Now that maybe these common, the first line medications that are used, once they are not now effective to the microorganisms that are causing these infections, it means they will use second and third line,
which are more expensive. Because when a new drug is developed, it comes at a higher cost.
Yeah.
Amoxil has been with us for a long time, and the other penicillins. So when you have to go to another drug, it's usually stronger. Side effects may even be more and more expensive. So you can imagine in our society, like in our public hospitals, and most of us we cannot afford these expensive medicines. So that is another danger.
So cost of treatment goes
up. High, yes.
So if you are using antibiotic or antimicrobial agents without any prescription, haphazardly, when you are feeling sick, you just go and get them and swallow them.
Yes.
So you are risking yourself to getting infections which are not responding, what you're calling antimicrobial resistance. And that one will come with cost implications. Sooner or later, you will have to use more expensive medication to treat yourself. So it's
not just yourself, even someone else, because you'll spread it. I might be misusing, but then I might spread.
I can get the infection from it.
Yes. So it doesn't just affect you.
It affects
this infection, the whole society. That's why it's a public health concern. As in, it's one of the things WHO is looking to try and prevent, because we have like you had said, TB is one, and I'm sure most of us have heard of TB. Drugs which used to work. We have HIV also, where we have to change medication. People are being changed. They don't understand why. Some patients will say, this used to work for me, but the policy now is like people have to be transitioned to another drug. One of the reasons is because of the development of resistance. They don't respond. We also have some urinary tract infections which are resistant to the common medications which are used. A drug, I'll just say ciprofloxacin, So these are some of the things that are happening. You have the normal, easy to treat diseases, and then now medication is not working. Yes.
So, Dr. maybe tell us now that you said that you'll find that these particular diseases are not responding, the germs are not responding.
Yes.
So, what is the implication of this in terms of treatment? You'll find that maybe I might guess it will the treatment period also
will increase.
Yes.
Because now you it will increase the cost. Like you stay in the hospital longer because you might go, you get treated with the first line. Now you are not responding. So before now they change to a second line. it will increase your length of stay in the hospital,
Hospital,
and then which will also increase your cost. The other one is
also it is a burden to the
Yes.
government, because now you are staying also in
Yes.
the hospital for a longer period of
Yes.
time. You're occupying that bed for
Yes.
longer
Yeah.
period of time.
Yes.
So it means that also if the government is the one paying some costs for you,
Yeah.
then the burden also increases
Yes.
for taking care of you.
Yes.
So it is kind of a cycle.
Yes.
Eh?
A
That is
vicious cycle for everyone, for you, for the country, for the society, for our children, because we leave them here dealing with diseases which were treatable.
Which were treatable.
And we are the ones who messed it up for them by misusing medication.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's another aspect that you pointed, which I think is very important for the viewer to maybe grasp it. You talked about if someone develops the antimicrobial resistance and they are not now responding to the first line, I mean these simple medications, now they'll have to go to higher classes.
Yes.
And you said there is what we call side effects, which are more severe.
Yes.
So can you just elaborate on that? Because
Okay.
I think that one is important
Yes.
so that people can get to understand the implication.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the medications which, we call them first line.
Yes.
The ones which we are using, like the amoxil, because it is safer. The first thing is it is safer. It has less side effects, or the side effects it has are not that bad.
They are manageable.
They are manageable. So when you have a second line, or once, let's say amoxil fails, and you go to another higher drug, that means it is more costly and the side effects are worse than the first line. Because for a drug to be a first line, it is that it works for that particular condition, and that it is also safer, because they have to take into consideration safety profiles. So when you go to these other medications, when you're treated with them, you are more at risk at getting more severe adverse reactions from the medication compared to the first line. Or the ones which we commonly use.
So what you're saying, the stronger the medication, the more serious the adverse effect at times.
Yes.
At times. You know,
Yeah,
as you go up the ladder,
yes,
the cost increases.
The cost increases, and also you have the side effects, because the ones which are used when you go and you are prescribed something, it's usually as a first line for these antimicrobials. It usually means it has a better safety profile than another drug which you could have been given.
Yeah.
So when this first one fails, and we have to go to another one, the safety profile is not as good as the first one.
Yeah.
As in from what they've done experimentally, from what they've discovered as they were developing the drug.
Okay.
Yes.
So that one is also a very important point to note. So while as you use these antimicrobial agents, kindly, please remember that misuse, overuse of these particular compounds are risky. It can cause what you're calling antimicrobial resistance, which of course has some serious implication. What is your take, or what is your advice to the viewer out there?
My advice is we need to prevent the transmission of infections. First, by what we are doing right now with corona, hygiene, safe water, and just being responsible citizens and responsible members of the society by using antimicrobials well. Just don't go and buy for yourself. If you go to a chemist and they tell you need one, ask them if they can do tests. Try not to misuse the antibiotics, because it will affect all of us as a society, as a people, and we maintain the hygiene we are maintaining right now, because it just doesn't work for corona. It also works for these other infectious diseases, and this will help slow down and curb the development of antimicrobial resistance.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you too.
Thank you for coming for today's show.
Thank you.
So our viewers, we are grateful, and I believe today's show or today's episode has been of great importance to you. I think you've got one or two things to carry home today. But of most important, I think, is what Dr. has said, that the constant use of antimicrobial agent without any prescription poses a great danger not only to yourself but also to the entire society, because there is that risk of developing antimicrobial resistant infections, which of course they come with a lot of cost in terms of treatment and many other things. So I believe with that, you'll be careful. When you feel you're sick, you'll go visit your doctor, and of course I know they will give you what you require to treat that particular condition. So we say, from here to Tumaini TV, we are saying thank you for joining us. Until next time, God keep you, God bless you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.